Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Today. We are building up to the UEFA European Championships, or the Euros as they are known in short form. And today we're joined by a pretty special guest in Robin Singh. So, Robin, thanks so much for joining us, and it'll be fun to chat something on what exactly we have to expect from what should be an action-packed, summer of football, I would say.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Let's go. Let's jump right into it.
Right, let's jump right in since we're already on this gravy train. It's few days left now. First off, very obvious question: if you're looking at it just from a squad perspective, star power, whatnot, if you had to pick
Yeah.
three sides who you are saying sure shot favorites, definitely going to be competing, who would you pick if you had to?
Three. Wow, I like three. I've been asked who's my favorite. Favorite is not a good. Three is very nice. I would say France, Spain. Okay, let's go Portugal.
Hmm.
Um, People are gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna give home advantage. I'm gonna go Germany or Netherlands.
Oh, that's very interesting. You mentioned Germany because actually I was just going to ask you the two questions which you touched upon very nicely here. One, of course, Portugal, one, Germany. Let's go with Portugal first. We'll get to Germany after that. Obviously, an interesting tournament for them, considering you're looking at it as potentially being the last European Championships of Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course, we know Ronaldo has been playing in Saudi Arabia, but doesn't seem to be showing any signs of slowing down, even at the international level. Do you reckon that he could actually drive them to one more title? I know you picked them as favorites, but what exactly, looking at them beyond the Ronaldo factor, do you see them as being favorites?
I think when I said Portugal is because I've been trying to watch them play every single friendly coming into this tournament, and the last one against Ireland was where Ronaldo played, and that will give a lot of answers to a lot of questions and critiques being asked about Ronaldo himself. A brace, a step over, and a top corner goal. Even with people saying playing the Saudi league as they like to call it. I think that will answer questions specifically for Ronaldo. But when you look at the rest of the squad, you got players like Bruno Fernandes, you got Rafael Leao, you got Conceição, who else? You got Diego Dallo. I think Cancelo. These are the
You
boys
missed a
that
Bernardo Silva. You missed a Bernardo Silva.
you got Bernardo Silva, you got João Felix also, who I actually think is playing really well as a drifting number 10, which I saw him play a couple of games. So I think it's a squad around Ronaldo which made me pick them and made me notice them, to be honest, as well. Because we've always said, all right, you know what, Portugal's a Ronaldo team, but seeing them
Hmm.
play in the past couple of games, it's been unbelievable. And I saw them shift to a 3-5-2 with Pepe at the back as well. With Pepe playing at the back, you always know that one thing that you're going to get is a lot of heart and a lot of desire to win games, and to play at the highest level, that's very important. You're going to come up against the best of the best, but the hunger, the desire, and the heart is very important, and I saw that from Portugal, and that's one of the reasons why I picked them as one of the dark horses coming into this tournament.
Absolutely. But now to get on to the next thing which I mentioned, Germany, obviously the host, but also a team that, truth be told, have been having a pretty torrid time when it comes to international tournaments. They won in 14, then in 18, 2022 World Cup, they were just knocked out in the group stages. So what exactly are you looking at that with that particular squad and saying, no, this time it's going to be different?
I think first and foremost is the home advantage. That you'll always have the fans backing you, and I think that's that 1% extra that that team always needs and wants. Being at home. Germany in general is a superpower for everything that you rightly mentioned. So that's very important coming. But when you look at the squad as well, I feel momentum is very important. And if you start at the middle pillars at the back, you've got Rudiger and Jonathan Tah. You got one Champions League winner and one team from Leverkusen that just went on an unbelievable dream run in the Bundesliga with Jonathan Tah at the back with him. When you look at the front or the middle, you got Andrik and Tony Cruz. For me, I think one player who doesn't have a switch off or a dull form is Tony Cruz. He is peak performance or cruise control, as people like to call it, all the time. He's just I will be very, very sad not to be able to say that throughout the next season, but I will enjoy it for as long as I can. But when you look at the front as well, you've got Musiala, you've got Kai Havertz, who just found this newfound striking ability all of a sudden with Kai in the front. When you look at the left side as well, you've got Florent Wirtz. I think this boy is unbelievable. He'll be one of the young talents to come out of this tournament. So there's a lot. Even if you look at the bench, if I'm not wrong, Schlotterbeck will be on the bench for for Germany. So if you look at the squad in general, it's also important to look at the depth. We've
Hmm.
spoken about individuals in first 11s, but when you give it like a deeper thought, the depth of Germany is quite deep.
Absolutely. So you mentioned these two teams. Now, of course, something a little tougher. Euros
Mm.
now obviously an expanded tournament, so you do tend to see some of the bigger teams who may have missed out in the past get to play. Having said that, if you had to pick one of the big teams who you think will be the most underwhelming, a team around who there's a lot of hype but who are not going to quite be clicking, if you had to pick just one, this time I'm putting you on the spot, just one.
Now, see this, as I said, a lot of people will hate me because I didn't mention a team at the front because I'm going to mention them right now. England, 58 years,
Ah,
58 years, no titles, questions on Gareth Southgate's selection, players playing in the best league, as people call them. How long do you not perform for and win anything? This, if they win, this will be their first ever Euro. So, that just speaks of the ability that India also have that ability, but the ability that England have, but they have to perform. That's, I think, for me, you have to perform. You have to win titles. You have to make sure you're playing at the highest level and contending amongst the best. And for me, England have to do that in this tournament. They will come out of the group, yes,
mhm.
but next. They have to go on as deep as they can. They lost last time in the finals, so this time maybe if they get there, it might just be coming home and then taking a U-turn again, or it might just get dropped home this time for England. So I hope they go all the way, but you have to prove it, to be honest. For me, when you play at the best, the target's not in front of you, it's on your back. So you have to play at the highest.
And you make a good point with regards to Southgate, because again, Southgate is someone who has, on one hand, overseen a bit of a revolution, cultural revolution for that
Yeah.
England squad. But on the other hand, the one thing by which all top managers are judged by, trophies, he's not quite been able to deliver. And he himself has come out and said that, listen, I may very well end up get dropped. Do you think that'll be the case? If it's no Euros, then goodbye, Southgate.
I I see a second. I'm thinking on this because when we spoke of individuals, right? You can create a tactic. Now the question will be asked for Southgate: can you not find the right 11? Right. But in that squad, anybody could step on to be the 11. Even after, questions were asked about leaving Jack Grealish out, but seeing Phil
Hmm.
Foden on the left, I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Throughout the City season as well, questions were asked about Phil Foden standing up and taking that De Bruyne role, who I think did very well. Um, so leaving even such, I think Grealish is amazing. By the way, his ball maneuvering, his vision is amazing. But that's what England have at the moment: the ability to leave players like Jack Grealish out. But when you got Cole Palmer, Alexander Arnold, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Phil Foden, I've just named seven like players that we all can speak of.
Yeah.
So now it comes down to, once you cross that line, is it Southgate or is it the players not taking the onus and responsibility of making sure they leave everything on the pitch? You're playing at the best league. If a lot of England fans will say you're supposed to be beating everybody, you're playing in the best league, you are the best, right? And that's what I meant about England, that they're a good side, but they have to come up with the goods this time. Or a lot of, not just fans, but England will not be happy. Southgate will not be happy. Critiques will not be happy. So they have to start performing. It's not Southgate. I feel once the whistle is blown, players have to step up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get your point. I mean, there's a lot of individual quality in that side. But last bit, obviously, you mentioned France, and I know France are definitely one of those teams. Again, you just look at the 11, you look at the balance
Yeah.
they have, top notch in terms of everything, whether it be bench strength, whether it be 11. But again, this is a team that also now would be desperate for glory, given they came this close to actually winning the FIFA World Cup in 2022. They were denied, of course, by a penalty shootout. Do you think that's going to be an extra motivating factor for them?
I think so. I think with France, they have to step up again. The squad that you mentioned, we've already spoken about the likes of Mbappe. Then you've got Chouameni, you've got Kamavinga, you've got, who else is there? There's Dembele, there's Konate, there's Giroud. So there's a lot of you know talent in the squad. Saliba, Upamecano, all of these boys are in the squad. So I think it's high time they step up. What's also important is momentum coming into the tournament and confidence coming into the tournament. Griezmann has been unbelievable this season. We'll see him play. Mbappe, we all know if single-handedly can score a hat trick at the finals, you will be able to change any game at any given point of time. Kamavinga, Chouameni, both coming in on the confidence of winning another Champions League, which is routine service for them now. So all of these boys are now coming in, but it's also about being as strong as your weakest link. So they all have to make sure that they're the strongest unit to beat. So this for me has to be how mentally and what is your desire to win the tournament. You will learn from your mistakes, which is always the case, but now you have to step up and perform. So hopefully, as much as we're calling them favorites, it takes one game for that to change. So hopefully France can start on the right foot.
Absolutely. Last thing, I asked you one big team who would underwhelm you, named England. Just quickly,
Yeah.
one team who no one is expecting much from, but do you think can actually have a decent run in the tournament?
Netherlands, without a doubt. Netherlands will be. When you asked me about my favorites earlier, the top three, I named four, and this is the reason why. Because four clean sheets in 5 games. The way they're playing, I've seen them play the previous few friendlies. Netherlands has been amazing. You've got Virgil van Dijk, who's being named one of the best centre backs in the world. I saw Memphis Depay play that game. That boy just he's unbelievable when he on his day. Apart from that, you got Xavi Simons, another young player. We will look forward to at the tournament. Is so was you got Dumfries in that squad as well. So you got a lot of names for the Dutch side that now I think can perform at the highest level. Cody Gakpo, another young player who I think can do very, very well through the tournament. So for me, I think one team that will surprise a lot of people will be Netherlands. They have a squad. I've seen them play a past few friendlies. They stepped up. They stepped up really well. They played really good football, and I'm sure they'll get out. They'll definitely get out of the group. And maybe we speak about France being contenders. They're in the same group. We'll see how good France are against them. That'll be a good game to watch.
Absolutely. I think there'll be a lot of exciting games to watch. But of course, stay tuned, guys, to Sports Today for all the build up from the Euros. Robin, thanks so much for joining us on this particular interview. It was real fun talking to you. And you guys also watching the video can let us know in the comments what you think about what it is Robin said or some of the questions that I asked. Let us know all that. Like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned to Sports Today. Robin, thanks again very much.